Hello, hello. I hope all is well. Get my music back up here. There we are. Hello, hello, hello. I hope all is well, y'all. Please forgive me for I am late and went a little over on Instagram, but I am happy to be on. I'm on my phone because I don't have time to play around with my laptop. So it worked perfectly fine this time. I just honestly am late. Hey Kiki, how are you? I'm just mad late. We went overtime a little bit, but I'm definitely going to go overtime here too because yes, did my curls today. I'm gonna go overtime a little bit here too because I did add some journaling questions for you guys to take away. Because of the fact that we won't be having lives next Monday because of Christmas and then the following Monday because of New Year's. So I wanted to make sure that I gave you guys as much information as possible to take away today, especially since we're going through holiday anxiety. I just commented about being on the phone and being late too. We do be on the same timeline. Yes. So I have 2 journaling questions, 8 affirmations on holiday anxiety. So I hope that these are all going to be helpful. You're hilarious. So I hope these are going to be helpful. I'm going to go through them. Let me see. Yes, I was right. I do have 8 affirmations. So I'm gonna go through them and talk through them, but definitely talk back to me. Feel free to use these affirmations however you see fit. If you want to write them down, if you want to post them up, if you want to type them up and print them out, however you want to do it. If you want to change the words or change the language at all of the affirmations, by all means, feel free to do so. Same with the journaling questions, feel free to do so. And make sure to like the live, make sure to subscribe if you haven't, make sure to share the live with people who you think will be able to benefit from it. And also the playback, the playback will be available. So if you, missed any of this, feel free to go ahead and play it back. But awesome. First affirmation. Let's see here. Number 1. I release the need of control and embrace the beauty of imperfection. I release the need of control and embrace the beauty of imperfection. Affirmation number 1. I'm going to do it one more time. I release the need of control and embrace the beauty of imperfection. I feel like during the holiday season, it's just literally 4 or 5 weeks of just trying to control everything, right? There's so many things happening between work and family and festivities and parties and activities that we spend a lot of time during this season trying to control everything and everyone. And that's what brings on our holiday stress and that's what brings on our holiday anxiety. So that's why I started with this one. I released the need of control because of the fact that we can't control everything that's happening. We can't control the actions of other people. We can't control situations and circumstances. We can't control a lot of those things. So understanding that we have to release the need of control and embrace the beauty of perfection. Sometimes there's a lot of there's a lot of beauty in imperfection. There's a lot of beauty in things just not going the way that we may not have wanted it to go. There's, beauty in small mistakes, big mistakes. A lot of times those mistakes and imperfections lead us to purpose and lead us to a higher reason or something that's outside of ourselves when it comes to, the situations and things that are happening around us. So understand, hello, hey hero. And you came with this affirmation. I was being being all deep, and here you go. You came out the gate with this affirmation, I'm a control freak this season, and it's giving chaotic. Yes, it is chaotic because we can't control everything around us. We just can't. It's just not a good idea for us to invest all of that time and energy into things that we cannot control. And the more we invest our time and energy into those things, the more burned out we are, the more stressed we are, the more frustrated we are, and even the more confused we are. We create the confusion sometimes within ourselves because of the fact that we're trying to control things that we're not meant to control, and we're trying to deal with things that we're not meant to deal with. So just understand that during this season, it's okay to release that need for control. And even taking a step further and understanding why we feel like we need to be in control of everything in the first place, right? There's a lot of things that happen in life, whether it be just situations or, relationships in general, that we just can't control. And the more we feed into it and the more that we put our energy into it, the more stressed we're going to be. So just understand that you can release that need for control and embrace the beauty of the imperfection. Find the beauty in the imperfections that are around you. Find the lesson even in the imperfections that are around you versus trying to fix them, right? We spend so much time trying to fix imperfections, and maybe the imperfections are just supposed to be imperfect. Maybe that's just the way that it's supposed to be, and that's okay. So there's no reason to try to keep fixing something that's supposed to be broke, right? If it's supposed to be broken, if it's supposed to be where it is in that moment, we're wasting our time trying to fix it, right? So just embrace the beauty that's within it. Number 2, I am deserving of joy and relaxation during this time. It's okay to rest. I am deserving of joy and relaxation during this time. It's okay to rest. I'll say that one more time. I am deserving of joy and relaxation during this time. It's okay to rest. Rest is also productive. I say this all the time. Rest is also productive. If you do not rest, then when you go to work, whether that be working for a company or just working for the people around you, work sometimes when it comes to family, sometimes it's work, making sure the food's on the table and going grocery shopping and washing clothes and all that stuff. You're not going to be a benefit to the people around you if you do not rest. And this is the perfect time to rest. Nothing's really going on with work. Everybody's off. You got PTO. You got all of these things that you have this time off. Take the time to relax. Take the time to rest. It's okay to not have anything to do during this time. It's okay. It's all right to put your foot up, watch some Christmas movies or whatever, and drink some hot cocoa and put a face mask on your face. It's okay for that to be what you're doing in a particular day. So understand that you're deserving of joy and relaxation, and that it's okay to rest. Number 3, I trust myself to make decisions that align with my well-being. I trust myself to make decisions that align with my well-being. I'll say that one last time. I trust myself to make decisions that align with my well-being. We have to make decisions during this time that align with our well-being. And a lot of times when we're making decisions around this time, it's not based off of our well-being. It's based off of people-pleasing. It's based off of what other people want, what other people want us to do, or where other people want us to go, what other people want us to buy, what other people, it's based off of just all of those things. And we have to take the time to trust ourselves to make the decisions that align with our well-being. And the way that we trust ourselves, right? Because you may be saying right now, I don't trust myself. I don't trust myself to make the decisions that align with my well-being, because it don't happen that way. The way that we trust ourselves is by being honest with ourselves about what we are capable of and what we're not capable of, bringing awareness to what is needed for our well-being. And sometimes we come to a point where we want to be better about our well-being and about our mental health, but we don't even know what that looks like. We don't even know what we need. So taking the time to really understand and being aware really of what we need, what our capabilities are, what our abilities are, what our boundaries are, what we can do, what we can't do, what we won't do, what we will do, and really highlighting that and understanding that, so that way we can then go ahead and trust ourselves to make the right decisions. It's hard to make the right decisions when you don't know, right? It's hard to make decisions when it's lack of knowledge, right? So if we don't understand who we are, if we don't understand what our needs are, then it's going to be hard for us to keep our well-being in the forefront. Yes. You gonna log off? Like, am I hitting too hard at home today, Kiki? I think I'm hitting too hard at home today. So that one was, what was that? I trust myself to make decisions that align with my well-being. Number 4, I release the fear of judgment from others and embrace my authenticity. I release the fear of judgment from others and embrace my authenticity. Taking the time to release any fear that you may have of judgment that's going to come during this season. We all know that one uncle or that one auntie that asks us why we still single, why we ain't got no kids yet, why we, what we doing at our little job, how your little business doing. We all know that this is all going to come, right? She said you're talking directly to me. We know that this is going to come, right? So we have to take the time to, one, not necessarily expect it, but understand that this is something that may come our way, and release the fear of that judgment. I mean, what's really going to happen once they go through this whole ordeal of why you're still single, or what happened to the last boyfriend or girlfriend, or why don't you have any kids yet, or all of those random questions that comes from that auntie, that uncle, or that cousin that you only see once a year, right? You only, we all know that there's always that one person. So taking the time to get ahead of that and being proactive and releasing the fear of that and expecting it to come, and either ignore it or have your comeback, whichever you feel privy to do. I'm not telling you to be mean, but hey, listen, sometimes you got to put people in their place in a very nice and kind way. So preparing for that, being proactive, and release whatever fear and judgment that comes your way in regards to that, and embrace your authenticity. Embrace where you are. Embrace the genuineness of where you are in that moment, even if it's not where you want to be. If you're single and you're like, okay, I don't want to be single, but this is where I am. Taking the time to accept that and embrace that, and to be proud and confident in that. There is a sense of pride that you can have in being single and having a little bit more freedom and doing the things that you want to do and navigate and going after your goals. And there's so much that can be attached that's positive to your singleness, that you can embrace and accept and have confidence in, to where those comments and things that will come to you regarding that, won't bother you as much. So taking the time to really embrace your authenticity and embracing where you are right now. And the more that you take the time to do that before going into these situations, the more confident you will be. The more confidence you'll walk into, where there isn't, if you're already, overwhelmed with self-doubt when it comes to these different situations, other people's comments are going to add to that self-doubt and that frustration in regards to yourself. But if you take the time to embrace and accept those things and accept where you are, and I'm not saying accepting it as this is where I'm in and this is always the way that things are going to be. It's like, no, it's like, this is where I am. This is how I'm going to be able to make the best out of where I am right now. And when I'm able to move into the space that I want to be, it's going to be a beautiful thing. But I'm going to be content with where I am right now. So yes, Yes, that's true. That's true. Sometimes and it doesn't have to be mean, but it's just a matter of, just making sure that you are confident in where you are and letting them know, like, yeah, like, okay, yeah, I'm single. So what, and, and, at least I know I ain't being cheated on. You know what I mean? So it's like, there's so many ways that you can, come back to those things or combat those things. And like I said, it doesn't have to be mean or angry or obnoxious or anything like that. But we have to take the time to embrace where we are, even if it's not necessarily where we want to be. I love this one. I release the fear of judgment. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Embrace your authenticity. Embrace where you are. And the more that we embrace where we are, the more we attract what we want. I hope that makes sense. The more that we embrace where we are, the more we can attract what we want, because we're not focused so much on where we are and woe is me and why am I here and why am I not there. We're not focused on that once you embrace where you are. Once you embrace where you are and you have confidence in it, your mindset is no longer on like, why am I here? It's more so on, I'm here and where am I going? So the more you focus on, just accepting where you are and embracing that, the more you can focus on and put your energy into where you're going. Yes. Thank you so much for putting the affirmations in the chat. I really do appreciate that. Awesome. Because sometimes people may miss it. I may go in and out or whatever. So thank you for putting that in there. That was where were we at? That was number 4. Number 5, I honor my boundaries and communicate them with love. And we're just kind of talking about that, right? I honor my boundaries and communicate them with love, right? It's okay to say no, y'all. It's okay to say no. But when I choose the word honor to be very specific, because a lot of times we set boundaries, but we don't honor them. And this is what I mean by that. We'll set a boundary. So say like our friend needs to borrow $50. They need to borrow $50 till payday. Those friends, right? So you let them know, or they say they need to borrow $100, and you're like, you know what, I can only give you 50. You know what I mean? And they're like, oh, I'll give it back to you on payday. And you're like, oh, I can only give you 50. That's the amount that you said to yourself, like, I can give that, and if I don't get it back, I'm still good, right? So that's what you said to yourself. You're setting a boundary. You're saying, hey, like, I know you need 100. I can only give you 50. Here's 50. Pay me back when you can. Then you get in your head and you start feeling bad, right? You start feeling bad, like, dang, I did have 100, but I only gave them 50. But I know they really needed that 100. So then you go around and turn around and give them the extra 50. So now they have 100, and you knew for a fact that you necessarily couldn't give it, but you gave it anyway. That's setting a boundary, but then not honoring it. That's setting a boundary and then not honoring it. If you honor your boundaries, that's what's most important. Sometimes we set boundaries for other people or set boundaries for ourselves, and then we surpass the boundaries, and then we set a precedent for the people that we're setting the boundaries with, to say, hey, she sets boundaries, but she don't stick to them, so I can play with her. You know what I'm saying? I could play around. I could say that I need 100, but she probably won't give me 100. So let me push the envelope next time and say 200, and let me push the envelope next time and say 150. So you have to understand that you don't necessarily need to just set your boundaries, but you have to honor them. You have to stick to them and not push away from it. And it's not just with money. It's with our time. It's with our resources. There's not just with those things. So understand, I honor my boundaries and I communicate with them with love. Just because you're setting a boundary doesn't mean you got to be mean about it. Doesn't mean that you have to be obnoxious. Doesn't mean that you got to be a jerk about it. You can say it with love. You can say it with firmness. You can say it with genuineness as well. And however you feel like you need to set that boundary, do that. But if you, and I mean more so of if you feel like you need to talk to that person to have a conversation, if you feel like you're not there yet and you need to set the boundary in writing, through text message or whatever, however you feel like you need to communicate it. But you can set a boundary, you can honor that boundary, but then also communicate it with love. So I honor my boundaries and communicate them with love. And it's not just setting and honoring boundaries, but understanding yourself enough to know what those boundaries are. I think that's number one in addition to that, because sometimes it's hard for us to set boundaries when we don't even know who we are. We don't know what we want. We don't know what our needs are. We don't know what our limitations are, our capabilities, our abilities. So really, it's also taking the time to take that extra step to understand you and understanding what you can do. If you know you're an introvert and you know that you can only take people for a certain period of time, why are you going to that party and staying there the whole time? Why? Why are you staying there the whole time when you know that your limitations is a couple hours, right? So if you know that your limitations is a couple of hours, just set the boundary ahead of time. Like, hey, I love my family, but I'm only going to be there from this time to this time. And you don't have to lie and say you have other things to do. You don't have to lie and say you got to go pick somebody up. You don't got to lie and say, whatever to try to justify it. You can just say, hey, I'd love to come to your party. I'll be there at this time. I probably want to leave at this time. And that's it. You don't have to, there's no other justification that needs to happen after that. They may ask, like, okay, you got something going on? No, I don't necessarily have anything going on. It's just that these are the time frames that I'm able to come, and that's where we're at. You know what I mean? That's hard for a lot of people to even do that. Sometimes it's hard for me. I'm a lot better now, but it's been hard for me in the past too, where it's like, oh, well, I got to go pick my mama up from bingo. I can't. You just kind of think of something. And I'm like, well, Debbie, I didn't think your mama lived out here. Oh, yeah, that's right. She don't. Okay. Stop coming up with lies. You know what I mean? Just say what you say and mean what you mean and mean what you say. Okay? Awesome. Where were we at? That was I honor my boundaries and communicate them with love. Number 6, I release the pressure to please everyone. I prioritize my mental and emotional well-being. I release the pressure to please everyone. I prioritize my mental and emotional well-being. Release that pressure to be a people pleaser, y'all. Yeah, I gotta take my mama to bingo. Like, just thinking of just random things. Like, yeah, well, your mama live in Philadelphia. You live in Chicago. How is that gonna happen? Okay? Yes. My mama don't even play bingo. Just making up stuff. Where were we at? I release the pressure to please everyone. I prioritize my mental and emotional well-being. Release that pressure. And a lot of times the pressure that we are feeling to be people pleasers is pressure that we put on ourselves. A lot of times it's not even the pressure that other people are putting on us. A lot of times it's just them stating their need or them stating their issue or their complaints or whatever they're going through. And then we put our own pressure on ourselves to try to please them or appease them or to fix their issue or to fix their problem, So release yourself of that need to please everyone that's around you. And that's not just like in your romantic relationship, but that's also with family, that's with friends. If you can't make every holiday party this season, then you can't make it. There isn't any allowing yourself to sit in guilt and shame over things that you can't control or that involve other people that isn't necessarily your issue or problem, is why we fall into holiday anxiety often. And if we've done this for years, if this is the way that it's been every year, that holiday anxiety is going to build. It's going to build even more and more. It's going to build earlier in the year. So just keep that in mind and make sure to release that pressure, any pressure that you're putting on yourself, in order, and when it comes to people pleasing. Yes, childhood. Yes, 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 yes. That guilt will follow you, will follow you, will follow you. And we have to release that pressure. I know I probably talked about before about my middle child syndrome, and sometimes I feel like I have to be the peacemaker when it comes to my family. And even though my family doesn't have a lot, we honestly don't have like a lot of fights and arguments and things of that matter. But then when they do come up, I feel like it's my job to jump in the middle and try to mitigate, everybody that's around me. But at the end of the day, I'm not gonna be able to control anybody's actions. I can't control anybody's emotions, and I can only do but so much and only give my energy to being the peacemaker, but so much. So understand your limitations, understand what your boundaries are, what you're capable of and what you're not capable of, and release the pressure to people please the people that are around you. Awesome. Next one. This is number 7. Yeah, it's a middle child syndrome. I think it's like I have 2 older sisters and 1 younger sister, and me and my younger sister have the same parents, and then my older sisters, one has a different dad and one has a different mom. So we're like a very blended family, but we don't see each other as like that. Those are just sisters. But I always find when we do have like a sister tiff, I always find myself trying to like, okay, all right, calm down. All right, okay, all right, are you okay? Are you okay? All right, you calm down. And it's all of this like back and forth. So I always have felt, and like I said, even though I do feel like that, we don't fight often. Like we honestly don't. But even when we do fight, it's not even like a long drawn out fight. It may be an argument or a disagreement, but it definitely, I feel like I am the mediator often. And then I find myself being the mediator in all of my relationships because of that. Like I find myself being the mediator at work. I find myself being the mediator in my friend groups. I find myself being the mediator in as a parent, you're always a mediator with, my son and daughter. But I feel like I'm always finding myself as a mediator. No boys. No, all girls. No boys. But yeah, I'm definitely always finding myself to be the mediator. And even when it comes to like the boy dynamic, like I do have a lot of god brothers, like a few god brothers, but we don't necessarily, we don't necessarily argue like that. We don't. The boys are easier, honestly. Awesome. So that was number 6, right? Okay. Yes, that was number 6. Number 7. I actually wrote this one for me, but I felt like if I needed to hear it, other people need to hear it, right? So number 7 is I embrace solitude and reject loneliness. Being alone doesn't mean I lack support. I embrace solitude and reject loneliness. Being alone doesn't mean I lack support. I'll say that one more time. I embrace solitude and reject loneliness. Being alone doesn't mean I lack support. A lot of times when it comes to holiday anxiety is because of the fact that we know that there are going to be certain times during that time of solitude or being alone. And that's scary. That's frustrating for some people. It's actually a fear for some people where they just have a hard time being by themselves. So this one is written for those who are going to find themselves alone during the holiday season. I embrace solitude and reject loneliness. Being alone doesn't mean that I lack support. Just because you are in solitude doesn't mean that there aren't people around you or people that don't support you, right? And understanding and finding solace in that, even though you are going to be physically alone during a certain period of time during the holiday season or the whole time of the holiday season. Who's taking care of Debbie and all this mediating? I do have people that are in my life that I can always like count on, especially when I'm not feeling the most positive as far as like when it comes to like mediating situations. My sisters, my mom, I definitely like find solace in that. I do have some friends that I feel like a lot of my friends ended up moving out of the state. So like a lot of times I don't talk to them very, very often, but when I do talk to them, it's as if we have not missed a beat. So yeah, I do confide in. There are people around me that I do confide in. But yes, I am always mediating. I am always mediating. Absolutely. I think it also is why I probably ended up in HR, like recruiting in HR. I think that's why, because that's nothing but mediation. And doing what I'm doing as far as like going into therapy and stuff like that, like that's also mediation. I'm always finding myself in some form of mediation. But yes, I embrace solitude and reject loneliness. Being alone doesn't mean I lack support. I wanted to make sure that I put this one in there because of the simple fact that even just within myself, this holiday season, or this Christmas at least, I don't have my kids. So my kids will be with their dad. I live in a state alone. So I will be alone for Christmas. I'm perfectly okay with that. I love my alone time. I have embraced my alone time. I will sit up here. I will put my little feet up. I'll make me some hot chocolate, put a little bit of espresso in there. I'm going to sit here and watch me some Christmas movies. I'm going to find me something to eat. I'm going to probably order me something because I'm not cooking nothing. I'm perfectly okay with that, but there was a time in my life where I wasn't. And I enjoy my solitude now. Like, I really do enjoy it. But there was a time where I just did not. So I wrote this in there for anyone who is in that space where you feel like you're being alone is just always lonely. There's a lot of people that are sitting in rooms right now. There's a lot of people that are in relationships right now who are still experiencing loneliness. So being alone doesn't equate to loneliness, right? So I embrace solitude and reject loneliness. Being alone doesn't mean I lack support. Understand that solitude allows you to focus on your self-care and your mental health well-being. This is a great time to meditate. This is a great time to journal. This is a great time to do goal setting. This is a great time to focus on where you want to be in life and what you want to see in 2024. And even if this isn't the type of life that you're looking to have for a long period of time, figuring out what you want and what that looks like and meditating on that and really finding gratitude in the possibilities of what's to come versus where you are, and focusing on that. Understand that solitude is just the state of being alone, and loneliness is the sadness that can come being associated with the state of being alone. So solitude is the physical of you just being alone in general, but loneliness is the emotion. So what we want to understand and take into consideration when you're in solitude is that we allow ourselves to embrace the solitude, be content in that, be joyous in that, find safety in that, and not allowing it to progress to loneliness, to where that turns into depression and burnout and frustration and confusion. And I think sometimes we confuse that solitude with loneliness as being the same thing, whereas being in solitude is perfectly okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And if you don't enjoy your own solitude and enjoy yourself and enjoying being with yourself, then how do you expect for other people to enjoy you too? Right? I crack myself up. Like when I'm at home and it's just me and I'm like just thinking about random things and I'm doing like little creative activities and things of that matter, I'm a joy to be around. Literally, I crack myself up all the time. I be in here laughing by myself. I'm hilarious, okay? But if I don't enjoy myself, how can I expect for other people to enjoy me, right? So taking the time to, and even if you are in a place where loneliness happens often for you, and you really do have a hard time being by yourself, but you're finding yourself by yourself, take the time to journal. Take the time to write these things out. Take the time to really understand why. Digging into self-doubt, digging into your self-confidence, figuring out, even if you have to go back and journal through your childhood, if you need to take the time to set up a few therapy sessions during these 2 weeks or whatever, if you can, do that. Take the time to have that third party give you some insight as to, why you may be feeling the way that you're feeling, or why you find yourself in that lonely thought process, or if you are dealing with depression. Like, there's so many things that could be happening, but taking the time to understand, yes, you have to enjoy your own company. Take yourself out on a date. Like, people think I'm crazy, and I get like DMs all the time on Instagram because I post my solo dates. I'll go on a solo date. I'm taking pictures. I'll ask people to take pictures of me just by myself when I'm out. And I'll go to these different things, and I'll put them up on my social media. And people will be like, you went there by yourself? And I'm like, yeah, I went there by myself, and I had a good time. I enjoyed myself. So just finding ways to enjoy your solitude, I think, is important. Volunteering during this time is great, especially if you find yourself alone during this time. Finding a way to help others and to volunteer, go feed at a shelter, or pass out different things to people in need. Volunteer at a church, volunteer somewhere. If you find yourself having a hard time being by yourself, and digging into the gratitude that you can find in volunteering and helping the people that are around you. Those are all my tips as far as, like, if you're finding yourself in solitude. Everything that I just told you, I am doing. I'm volunteering. I'm going to be actually out the 24th and the 23rd and the 24th. With a non-for-profit that I work with, and volunteering and helping pass out stuff to families. So I'm not telling you guys anything that I'm not doing myself. I'm not doing myself. So make sure to find some type of solace in your solitude, and find some self-care during that time, some personal care, some journaling, and some volunteering. And most of all, find a way to be kind to yourself during this time. Do the things you enjoy, right? That's number 7. Number 8, I choose presence over presence. I choose presence, Presence, over presence, Presents, and embrace this time as an opportunity for genuine connection. I choose presence over presence, and embrace this time as an opportunity for genuine connection. So take this time to be present. Take this time to understand and enjoy what's happening around you, and take in all of the beautiful things that are happening, and the things that aren't so beautiful, that aren't so negative. Take in those lessons that you need to learn from them, and just remain present where you are. A lot of times our anxiety happens from us thinking too much about what's happening in the past, or thinking too much of what's happening in the future. That's what anxiety is. It's just that we're worrying about things that we cannot control, worrying about the past or worrying about the future, instead of spending time in the present. So the more you spend time in the present, the more that you spend time with where you are in the now, even just right now, me speaking to you right now, spending that time in that present and enjoying the present. The more that you do that, the more the anxiety will melt away. The more the anxiety will not necessarily go away completely, but it will subside, because of the fact that you're not worried about past and future. So I choose presence over presence, and embrace this time as an opportunity for genuine connection. Take this time to connect. Take this time to connect with the people around you. If you're in solitude, connect with the people at Starbucks. Connect with the people at the store when you're going to buy presents. Connect with anyone that you come into. I always say I'm always extra nice to people who work in retail during this time, because I know I know that it's going through it. So I'm super nice. I'll ask them how their day is going. I'll try to connect with them. I'll give them a compliment or whatever, because I know this is a tough time. So use this as a time for genuine connection for the people that are around you, even if it's just someone that you're bypassing, even if it's just the maintenance worker at work, even if it's just the maintenance worker at my old job. I used to talk to her all the time just to check in on her and talk about her kids and all these other things. Just take time to make genuine connection with the people, random strangers that you come across. Awesome. Self-date, yes. And go on a date, y'all. If you're single and you're in your solitude, take yourself on a date. Okay, go to the movies. I went to a rooftop movie by myself. Went and got me some popcorn, got me something to drink, got me a slushie. Like, it was fun. So fine, if you're alone, you're single during this time, and this is just a frustrating time for you being single. You've seen everybody with their little matching pajamas. Go get you some pajamas. I got me a onesie the other day. I can't wait for it to come in the mail. I'm gonna put my little onesie on with my little hood, and I'm gonna take myself out on a date at some time this weekend. Like, take care of yourself and find ways to enjoy your own company. Awesome. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna go back through those, and then I'm gonna leave you guys with journaling questions to take away for the next 2 weeks, because of course we will not be having lives next Monday because of Christmas, and the following Monday because of New Year's. So I want to give you guys something to take away. So I'm gonna go back through these, and I'll give you 2 journaling questions. Awesome. Thank you, Euro, for putting that in there. Number 1 was, I released the need of control and embrace the beauty of perfection. Number 2, I am deserving of joy and relaxation during this time. It's okay to rest. Number 3, I trust myself to make decisions that align with my well-being. Number 4, I release the fear of judgment from others and embrace my authenticity. Number 5, I honor my boundaries and communicate them with love. Number 6, I release the pressure to please everyone. I prioritize my mental and emotional well-being. Number 7, I embrace solitude and reject loneliness. Being alone doesn't mean I lack support. And number 8, I choose presence over presence and embrace this time as an opportunity for genuine connection. Awesome. Unstoppable. Yes, I do remember that movie. That's an old one though, right? Early 90s, I feel like. I can't remember how old that is, but yes, I do remember that one. Awesome. So those are all the affirmations. Now for journaling questions. So one is for specifically for holiday anxiety, and the other one's for gratitude if you're not finding yourself. Yeah, I do remember the movie though. Unstoppable. This t-shirt I feel like is still available. This one's a tank though. It's like a not a tank, it's like a halter. No, not a halter. What is it? Crop top. I'm a fashion major. I should know this, y'all. This is a crop top, but yes. It should be still available on the website. Journaling questions. So one is for holiday anxiety. The other one's for gratitude if you're finding yourself not necessarily dealing with a lot of holiday anxiety. But so I'll have 2 here. The first one, take a moment to identify the sources of holiday stress. What can you do proactively to navigate these issues in a healthy way? I'll repeat that. Take a moment to identify the sources of holiday stress. What can you do to proactively navigate these issues in a healthy way? Put your Amazon wish list on the community page so we can get you something. I will definitely do that. I feel like, so we use our holiday wish list for our Secret Santa for my family. So I probably have to make a separate one so that way people aren't buying double stuff. But I'll do that. I appreciate that. That I'll go back through that journaling question because it is a long question. Take a moment to identify the sources of holiday stress. What can you do proactively to navigate these issues in a healthy way? And really, this question is just for you to evaluate where the sources are for your stress that happens every year. And I think a lot of times we experience that stress and that anxiety every single year, but we don't really understand why or what the sources are or where they come from. And a lot of those sources we can't control, right? A lot of those things we can't really control. But if it is something that we can control, what can we do to proactively mitigate that? But if it's something that we can't control, how can we proactively mitigate our emotions during that time, right? So I want you guys to really take the time to think about that. And this is the best time to evaluate it because we're in it, right? So if you're looking through your sources that you write down and it's something that you can't control, proactively think about how you can mitigate your emotions. And if it's something that you can control, what actions can you take? What actions can you take to help proactively combat that? So that was the holiday anxiety question. The gratitude question. What are you grateful for going into this new year? What goals are you excited about pursuing in 2024? What are you grateful for going into the new year? What goals are you excited to pursue in 2024? If you haven't done your goal setting yet, this is the time. This is the time to really think about your goals for 2024. What are your goals financially? What are your goals emotionally? What are your goals spiritually? What are your goals physically, right? We all talk about our professional goals. Them goals is probably already on the list, right? What you're trying to do professionally, you trying to get your promotion, you trying to go back to school, you trying to do all of that. We already know that. That stuff is normal goal setting, right? But what are your goals for your mental health? What are your goals for your emotional well-being? What are your goals for your therapy sessions, right? What are your goals for, and then also too, like we talk about finances, but sometimes that's a fear. What are your goals financially? Like how much do you want to save? How much do you want to cut back in spending? What do you want to invest in? Like thinking outside of the box of our goals. So I think when we talk about goal setting, we're always talking about career, but what about our holistic well-being? What are your spiritual goals? If you're a spiritual person, do you want to learn more about this particular area when it comes to your religion? Do you want to have a closer relationship with God? Do you want to pray a little bit more on a daily basis? Do you want to try fasting? Do you want just think about, and then again physically, like if you know you've been eating them cookies and you know that your cholesterol high, okay, and you know you ain't get your blood work done, all right, what are your goals physically? Go get your blood work. How often are you going to work out? A lot of times our mental health is linked to how active we are, and if you're not active, then your mental health is going to be shot. What are your goals for your home? If your home is unorganized, then that's why you're confused, right? Whatever we're surrounded by is what is up here. So if our home is I'm not saying hoarders, but if your home is not as organized as it could be a little bit better. What can you do? What can your goals be set for that? So think about the areas of your life that you are lacking and pick goals for those areas of your life. It doesn't have to be, I want to go to school and I want to do this, I want to do that. It doesn't have to be these big drawn out long goals. It could be little things that can make your home better, that can make your holistic well-being better, that can make your physical life better. It could be, I need to clear up my skin. My skin is annoying me and that's why I'm frustrated every time I get up and look in the mirror. Whatever it is. I'm saying that because my skin's better now. I'm saying that because at a certain point, my skin was just like, I don't like it. I don't like it. And it frustrates me every morning when I wake up. So just thinking about things that frustrate you, that are parts of your life that are lacking, things that you've been slacking on. It could be just you wanting to learn a new hobby. It could be just wanting to be more creative or getting back to an old hobby. It could be so many different things. So think outside of the box when it comes to your goal setting. I'm sorry, I went on a tangent, y'all. But the question was, what are you grateful for going into the new year, and what goals are you excited to pursue? When it comes to goal setting, I go on tangents, y'all, because I think we all could be doing better in that area. And I think when people think of goals, they just think of these long, drawn out, I want to start a business, I want to do this, I want to do that. No, what about your skin? What about what about your weight loss? What about your home? What does your home look like? What about your mental well-being? What about, your spiritual well-being? Think of all of those things and categorize it, and work through all of those things. And not to give you more things to think, like not to give you more things to worry about. It's just really thinking through goal setting in a different way to where it's obtainable. And when you're able to obtain those small little goals, it makes it easier for you to have the confidence to go for the big ones. So I'll end there. I feel like I've been talking y'all ears off. But I hope this live was helpful. We went to 50 minutes today. But I wanted to make sure that I gave you guys space for the journaling questions, and I'm glad we kind of went over, because for these next 2 weeks, again, we aren't going to have, any lives. So if I don't talk to you guys in the comments of the videos, you will still though get a video next week. I am going to do, if you were here last week, I am going to do a core values meditation and journaling video. So basically what it'll be 10 minutes of a core values meditation. And then it'll have 10 minutes on the back end with just like music and sounds for you to sit and to journal what you just meditated on. It's going to be a new way of doing these meditations of going into the new year. Of course, if you love the 5-minute and the 10-minute meditations, those are still going to be happening. But I think once a month, I might add like a meditation and journaling video for you guys to kind of meditate and journal. So let me know once it's posted, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. And if I don't talk to you, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I will see you all in 2024. Gratitude and appreciation. Merry Christmas. Thank you. Okay, perfect. And I like the calmness voice. Yeah, thank you. I try to change it around. I try to change it up. I feel like if I am saying the same things over and over again, I try to change it up and change the layout of the meditation. So I'm glad that you enjoyed that. If there's any other questions, definitely let me know. Even though, like I said, there won't be any lives, I will be posting you guys updates and things. So yeah, definitely let me know, and I will talk to you all in the new year. Most likely, whatever that first Monday is, that first Monday is New Year's. So whatever that Monday is after New Year's is the Monday that we'll start back up with lives. But thank you all. You have a good night. Bye.